There's been a lot of publicity in the media about young people recently. Most of it is negative. We read that the 20-somethings of today are getting lazier and more selfish, and they depend on their parents for everything. But just how fair is that? Today, I'm interviewing Ashley Roberts, who is 21 and has just graduated from college. Ashley, do young people deserve this reputation?
Well, I think it depends on the individual. One of the biggest problems is that we're treated as if we're all the same. Of course, some young people may just sit around updating their Facebook page, but I think many people in their 20s are working or studying harder than ever before. It's just that we do things differently from our parents.
So you don't think that things are easier for young people?
Not really. I think this is a really difficult time to be young. Sure, we have more material stuff and more opportunities to travel, but there are also fewer jobs, and there's more competition for everything.
Well, you've certainly grown up in a difficult economic climate. But is it fair to say that the youth of today are more selfish?
No, I don't think it is. I think we care about things just as much as older people. Lots of my friends do volunteer work, for example. I read that twice as many people volunteer as when my parents were young. Young people are maybe more self-confident these days, and they want to do what they believe in. Is that being selfish?
But what about the argument that young people don't want to grow up?
Maybe old people are just jealous of us because we're having fun. So we spend our money on clothes and entertainment, but isn't that what young people have always done?
Thank you, Ashley. It's been very interesting talking to you. It's probably true that the older generation have always thought that they work harder and have better values than their children's generation. Well, Ashley will get her chance to complain about the younger generation in a few years.
Is that your trumpet? I didn't know you played. Isn't it hard?
Well, it was really frustrating at the beginning. I couldn't make any sounds at all, but my teacher says I'm getting better now. What about you? Can you play a musical instrument?
Well, I used to play the violin when I was younger, but I was never very good. I still remember my music teacher writing, James could make a more pleasing sound. She said I should practice 30 minutes a day, but I found it so boring.
So, what happened?
Oh, I played in the school orchestra for a while, but I was pretty embarrassed about it. It just wasn't cool to play in the school orchestra when I was 14.
So, did you give up?
Yes, I did. Mom was disappointed because she thinks everyone should learn a musical instrument. But I took up the drums when I was 16, and I played in a band for a while. That was exciting. We wrote our own songs, did quite a few concerts, but in the end we were just too busy with other things. How about you? Do you play in a band?
Actually, I've recently joined a jazz band. That's where I'm going now.
Really? That sounds much more exciting than the school orchestra.
It's great. Some of the older musicians are amazing. I don't know if I'll ever be able to play like they do. They make it sound so easy. We're doing a concert next month. You should come and hear us.
I'd love to.
Hey, I have an idea. Our drummer has just left. Do you still play?
I haven't practiced for a while, so I might not be able to play very well, but I guess I could try.
You don't have to be anything special. We just need someone to help us keep a basic rhythm. Why don't you come along next week?
Okay, cool. I'll give it a try. Text me on Monday to remind me.
Carol, should you say sorry in the US if you walk into someone?
Oh, definitely. Actually, we often say sorry even when someone walks into us. But if you just want to get past, you need to say, "Excuse me."
Okay. And what should I say when someone says sorry?
Well, it depends on the situation, really. We usually just say, "Sorry," back, especially for a small thing. When someone is really apologizing for something, say they stand on your toe and hurt you, then you can say, "That's all right," or, "Don't worry."
If I'm invited for dinner, do I have to arrive exactly on time?
Well, if you're eating at someone's house, I think it's okay to arrive about 10 or 15 minutes late. In fact, some people would say that's polite. But if you're meeting in a restaurant, you really should be punctual, especially if the other person is on their own.
Thanks. And should I take a present if I'm invited to dinner at someone's house?
Well, you should probably take something, maybe a box of chocolates or a bunch of flowers.
What about tipping in restaurants in the US, Carol? Do people always leave something?
Well, it's common to leave at least 15% in a restaurant, but you should always check to see whether it's included in the bill, or you can ask the waiter. If it's in the bill, you don't need to leave any extra, but you can leave a little bit more if you want to.
Do people tip in any other situations?
You should probably tip a taxi driver 15% too, and it's also normal to tip a hairdresser.
Hello, can I speak to Margaret Johnson, please?
Just a moment, I'm afraid her line is busy. Do you want to hold, or can I take a message?
Can I leave a message? Could you tell her Nova Miller called, and that I'm calling about Friday's meeting? We need to discuss the agenda before Thursday, but she doesn't have to call back. In fact, I'm in meetings most of today, so I'll call her first thing tomorrow morning.
Who are you texting, Lisa?
Donald. I just called him and he hung up on me.
That's rude. Why did he do that?
I don't know. I left him a voicemail yesterday and he didn't call back then either. I've already sent him a Facebook message this morning, but he isn't replying. Oh, I'm so depressed.
I'm not surprised. I wonder what the problem is.
I have no idea.